us single-handed. I have no doubt that our final story would have been a lot different had it not been for so many other people who had come here before us. We were not responsible for the victories at Anzio, Salerno, or Monte Cassino, or for the march into Rome. We were still in the States in those days. I believe it was Ernie Pyle who called it the Forgotten Front. We became a part of this tragic scenery on December 23rd, 48 hours before Christmas, 1944. We checked into Livorno exactly 1 month and 1 day after the Germans beat back our third attempt to scale them.
Da kommen sie! Lass sie kommen!
We knew the Germans had two weapons. They had an 88 and they had the burp gun. Of course, they had a Luger, but that was the kind of thing you got as a souvenir. The burp gun was something you were afraid of. The 88 was something you should be definitely concerned with.
On the morning of the 20th, one whole battalion of the 85th reached the top of Mount Belvedere. But the trick, as they soon discovered, was not just to reach it, but to hold it. This is part 2 of The Climb to Glory, a combined German, American, and Italian account of the combat record of one of America's most unusual fighting outfits, the Army's 10th Mountain Division. Once again, silence surrounded the valley as the 10th moved out. Further resistance ended when General Hayes sent a fresh battalion in from behind and surrounded the town.
And in front of us, there were the Americans. We gave in to what was inevitable, threw our weapons away, walked toward the Americans, raised our hands, and did exactly as the pamphlets had told us to do, to surrender. We expected hostile reactions, but, well, one becomes a prisoner of war only once in life.
The Germans, tossed off the Apennines for good, began rolling north in the hope of slowing the Allied advance at 2 river crossings. The first at Pamporto, the other farther north at the town of San Benedetto.
some light tanks and reconnaissance units and told him to bypass any resistance he ran into and move as rapidly as he could down to the Bomporto bridges and capture them intact. I told him never mind the Germans that he ran into, to go around them, that the rest of the division would come along behind and mop them up.
Miraculously, the Germans were outrun. The bridge at Bomporto was captured intact. The rest of the division, racing up from behind, overran so many Germans that for a moment it looked as though the advance might be stopped by the simple burden of figuring out what to do with so many prisoners. General Hayes solved the problem by stationing MPs 10 miles apart. The MPs then waved these war-weary men into hastily erected enclosures. Chaplain Moran, in convoy up at the front, remembers taking part in these proceedings.
I planned the crossing with the 87th Infantry making the initial crossing at high noon.
It was warm and sunny, I believe, although we didn't much care about the scenery or the type of day. We had to cross up over the dike, and things were rather uncomfortable because the Germans had some anti-aircraft batteries on the north side of the river, a few miles upstream, and they were shelling us all the way across with time bursts which exploded right over us as we were in the field next to the river and as we were crossing. Once we got across the river, we could spread out and escape from this murderous type of artillery. So we did. It was the day we crossed the Po River. Ahead of me in the crossing had been Company L of the 87th. I spent the happiest, perhaps, days of my Army life in that company as a private, and I knew all the people in that company. When we crossed the Po, they'd stopped ahead of us, and my company crossed through theirs. And I only recognized two people.
Beyond the Po, the 10th Mountain Division got fresh supplies, captured the town of Verona, and a few hours later lost its assistant division commander, Colonel William O. Darby, to a German shell. He received the rank of Brigadier General after his death. The 10th rolled north to Lake Garda and took to the water to capture the tunnels on both sides of the lake. And it left friends behind as the fading war claimed its very last victims. It fought for the town of Torboli and silenced resistance on the northern shore. It battered the Germans out of their last mountain stronghold. It cleared the Adige line and then held the Germans.
mi sono svegliato e ho trovato l'invaso. Oh partigiano, portami via. Oh bella ciao, 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 ciao partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. Sei un modo da partigiano, oh bella ciao, ciao,